Hello and welcome to Under the Covers, presented by the Homemade Songwriter. If you're just checking out our channel for the very first time, I highly recommend that you like and subscribe to our channel for weekly content all about songwriting and music. Every week, Matt and I are posting videos with songwriting tips and tricks, albums and songs and artists that inspire us and make us want to keep writing, and then occasionally posting our own original music and sometimes departing from that to play cover songs that we really love. We even occasionally share songwriting resources like our 30 free songwriting prompts to help jumpstart your creativity and get you writing, which you'll find a link for in the description of this video. But that brings us to today's video, in which I'm going to be covering the song Cover Me Up. Now, Cover Me Up was originally written and recorded by Jason Isbell, which, if you're not familiar with his music, I recommend checking him out. He's more in the singer-songwriter or Americana vein of country music and is widely recognized as just being a prolific songwriter. But while he originally wrote and recorded this song and it appeared on his 2013 album Southeastern, it was recently re-released as a cover by Morgan Wallen. I think it originally debuted as a single that he put out before the album that he just released, but nonetheless, it does also appear on his huge double album that he just put out. The reason that I love this song is because, you know, as songwriters, I think we all kind of tend to lean into the music that makes us feel things the strongest or that we relate to the strongest. And so oftentimes those are love songs or breakup songs. Cover Me Up is definitely a love song, but I think the coolest thing about it is that it's a love song about finding the person who shows you your value. If you listen to the lyrics, you definitely hear this sense of desperation or brokenness throughout a lot of it, because it's a very personal and honest story from Jason Isbell, who has struggled with, dependency issues and alcoholism. And so he either wrote it during or just after he got out of rehab, and it's a song that's sort of directed to his wife, who I believe he married shortly after this album debuted. But you hear his story a lot in these lyrics, is talking about the early part of his life, maybe before he met his wife, where he was living recklessly or dangerously without care for himself because he didn't think that he brought anything to the table or that he was worth anything. And so you see this days when we raged, we flew off the page, such damage was done. But then he sort of ties in this idea of but somehow I made it through because somebody knew I was meant for someone. And I love that idea, this cosmic force, this idea of this spiritual element of love, of, I was preserved through these things that I went through because I was meant to be with somebody. I'm worth it. I'm worthwhile. I'm important enough to be here on this planet. Then he gets into the chorus, which I think is a very clever way of basically just sharing the affection that he has for his wife. Talking about, girl, leave your boots by the bed. We ain't leaving this room till somebody needs medical help or the magnolias bloom. It's gonna be a long time, right? But then he moves into verse 2, where you sort of hear the trials and tribulations of early relationship. And I think sometimes when I'm talking about relationships with people, what I've said before is that when it comes to especially marriage, but even just really any long-term relationship, oftentimes we get swept up in the passion, the attraction of being in a relationship. But at the end of the day, those aren't the things that make a long-lasting relationship. The hard questions are, not how attracted am I to this person, but more who can I fight with and still make a choice to love despite the things that we disagree on or the flaws that we see in each other. And so I think that's something that's very present in these lyrics. It's, I put your faith to the test when I tore off your dress in Richmond on high. I sobered up and swore off that stuff forever this time. And then the last half of that verse 2 I think is also very cool, because it touches on the idea of finding comfort and solace and home in another person, building a life together. It says, the old lovers say I thought it'd be me who helped him get home, but home was a dream, one that I'd never seen until you came along. Man, just what beautiful lyrics, beautiful lyrics. So anyway, songwriting things to look out for here. There's a really cool thing on display that I want to point out before I start playing this song, which is a very useful trick if you have a strong story to tell, strong lyrics, and you want people to focus on the story of the song, in addition to, or I guess more so than they would focus on the melody. Now, the trick is the repetitiveness of the melody, because our brains are sort of psychologically conditioned to find pleasure in being able to predict things. Specifically when it comes to music, they've done these studies that indicate that we actually like pop music or repetitive music with a catchy melody because our brain likes to be able to predict the outcome. And so because of that, this song has almost like a hymn quality to it, in that the melody is very repetitive without being boring. But because of that, when your brain isn't so focused on what's happening musically, there are a lot of complex things going on, which is also something that we hone in on sometimes and find pleasure in a different way. with the repetitiveness of the melody, where we hone in on the lyrics. And this is an important story. This is an important love story. It's an important way to phrase this love story. So we kind of, it's a tool that you can use in your own writing to kind of hone in on the story or on the lyrics if you're confident or you really want people to draw their attention there. Now, I will say that musically, what's kind of funny about this is while I do love the original version of this song because of its honesty and its rawness, musically speaking, I actually prefer the Morgan Wallen recording of this song. And I know that might make some people mad because some people are already mad that he covered this song at all, with it being such a personal song to Jason Isbell. But Jason Isbell himself has come out multiple times in defense of Morgan Wallen's cover of this, so I think that speaks volumes. And that being said, I think it's a very respectful way that he re-recorded it. It's very tasteful, the mix on it, and it proves that even though I think I'm not like a pop country or a contemporary country fan most of the time, I like more classical country sound, or if it's modern country, I like stuff that kind of has its roots in that classic country. But nonetheless, I think it's proof that some of these, pop country guys out there really do have like the voice and the story to tell. So that being said, this is my cover of Morgan Wallen's cover of Jason Isbell's song, Cover Me Up.
Keeps a hand on a gun, can't trust anyone. I was so sure what I needed was more, trying to shoot out the sun. In days when we raged, we flew off the page, such damage was done. Made it through, 'cause somebody knew I was meant for someone. So girl, leave your boots by the bed, we ain't leaving this room. To someone needs medical help or the it's cold in this house and I ain't going out to chop wood. So cover me up and know you're enough to use me for good. Put your faith to the test when I told